Okay, so in this video we're going to talk a little bit about ladder safety. Here I've got our 24-foot ladder out. This is probably the ladder we use, well, definitely a ladder we use most often for windows that are off the ground or over the 6 to 8 feet mark. Most homes that we do, this ladder is sufficient. We do have a 28-foot ladder and a 32-foot ladder that we'll use to access higher windows at times. We can't utilize the water-fed pole. So part of cleaning windows is knowing how to climb and work off of the ladder safely. So I'm going to show you quick. I got this ladder set up. We've got two windows up here. We got the ladder set up to the left of the set. This is just to show you how to set the ladder up safely. I'll show you another option of where to set the ladder so that we can clean both of those windows. We've got a pergola here, which would make it difficult to put this ladder. We won't be able to put this ladder to the right side of this window on the right side to clean that. So we're going to have to be able to position the ladder safely so that we can access both windows and clean both windows. Anyhow, when we set up our ladder, and I'll show you in another portion of the video how to safely stand the ladder up. But now that we've got the ladder stood up, first rule of thumb to know if the ladder is safe is we're going to put our feet, our toes, right at the bottom of the ladder, and we're going to reach out. And when we touch the ladder, we shouldn't be reaching too far. In other words, the ladder is set out like this. We go to reach out, and our tips of our fingers are touching the ladder. The base is too far away from the house. The danger that we'll run into then is as we're climbing up, too much weight is on the base of the ladder pushing it out. We could be about halfway up, and that ladder could slide out if we're not on a solid surface. This is a deck here that's stained. When dry, it's a very safe surface to put a ladder on. If a stained deck is wet, it can be a little slicker. So it's even more important to make sure that we have this ladder set up safely. So we're going to scoot this in a little bit. Those are the leg levelers there. So now the palms of my hands are on the ladder. My arm is very slightly bent. We know that that's a safe angle to have the ladder set up at. Now, as we climb up a ladder, we're going to have both hands on the ladder. So we're climbing up. We're sliding our hands up. Personally, I don't like to grab the rungs. A lot of people seem to think, and it does feel safer when I'm standing right here just holding onto the rungs. The problem with that is, what if I'm thinking of something else or looking at something and my hand hits and I don't grab it, fall backwards. So hold on to the side of the ladder as we're climbing up. You never have to take your hand fully off the ladder. If you have to have something in your hand while you're climbing up the ladder, always have one hand on the ladder as you're climbing up. Again, when I'm coming down, it's the same thing. I've got my hands on the sides of the ladder as I'm walking down. My body is away from the ladder. Another habit that some folks get into, or out of fear, I suppose, is they feel like they've got to lean into the ladder while they're climbing up. It may seem safe to climb up like this. As you can see, it looks a little awkward. It's because it is. My leg can hit this as I'm going up. Tool belt can get caught on things. A lot of things can go wrong when you're leaning into a ladder like this. If something's not quite right and you start to lose your balance, or you're that afraid to climb the ladder, that's when accidents happen. So while you're working in the field, periodically, you're going to need to set up a ladder and start climbing a ladder and get comfortable with it. We want everybody to be comfortable with using a ladder, trusting the ladder, so that you can be safe. What I've found throughout the years of doing different things, when it comes to ladders, it applies. The more confident I am, the safer I actually am on the ladder. So That's the first rule of thumb: setting up a ladder safely, climbing up the ladder safely, climbing down the ladder safely. Some of the different components of the ladder. We've got leg levelers here, another safety feature of the ladder. These are real simple to use. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the ladder away from the building quick. I'm going to raise this up so we can talk a little bit about the components here. So these are called ladder locks. Underneath they got this rubber or plastic lip here. As we raise up the ladder, we can lock it in like that. When we need to lower it down, we raise it up above this plastic stopper here, and it pushes these ladder locks out so we can go down to the next rung. There, we've got it locked in. It's real important we have a ladder set up to make sure both of these ladder locks are over the rung. Sometimes on ladders, as they get old, sometimes the springs break or become corroded or rust. They're probably aluminum. If they're steel, they could become rusted. What can happen is these don't flip out and back in effectively. If we have a ladder that has an issue like that, it needs to be put aside. I need to be informed, or somebody else in management needs to be informed, so that we can repair the ladder or dispose of the ladder and get another ladder. If we have ladders that aren't working right, it's not worth it to keep it in the field. It makes much more sense just to get rid of the ladder and buy another ladder than to have an accident. So the other thing we want to pay attention to is the rope. We've got this rope here, which we can use. I usually just use my hands up until the point I can't reach anymore. I raise the ladder up. Now this rope here, I reach around, pull the slack out, holding onto the ladder. I can raise it up one rung or two rungs at a time, depending on how I can reach. Now again, lower the ladder, you raise it up past those, so that the ladder locks go past that rung they were locked on. You can lower it down, guiding it with this rope. The rope itself, some ladders have some replacement ropes on them. We want to pay attention to fraying. Up top, we've got this pulley that the rope slides on. If that pulley gets cracked or broken, that can cut into the rope, cause more fraying. These are also things that we need to know about. If there's issues with the ladder, I can get replacement parts, or we can get replacement parts, replace them, or we need to replace the ladder. It's as simple as that. So anyhow, I'm going to show you quickly another way of setting up the ladder so that we can get between those two windows up there. So what I'm going to do, first thing I do, I'm going to walk up to when I'm walking up to a set of windows that need to be cleaned. I'm thinking about the ladder placement. So obviously I want to be able to clean both these windows as effectively and efficiently as possible. So if I can set up the ladder where I can reach two windows at a time, that's ideal. Or if I can do one window and then do the other window without having to climb down and reset the ladder. That's the safest way to do it and the most efficient way to do it. So I'm going to extend our ladder up. As you can see, we've got a gutter up there, and as I go across, it just goes underneath it. Well, let's say that it doesn't. Say I bump it with the ladder. What you can do, you can slide the ladder, just angle it a little bit. You can go right underneath that soffit, and you set the ladder up above the window. I'm checking to see this is a safe angle. So, if you can see the top up there, the ladder pads where it's set are just above the window frame. If we're too low or on the frame of the window, we might not be able to reach behind those ladder pads and clean that glass. So it's ideal, and sometimes it can't be avoidable, and we just have to kind of, figure it out with the towel and your fingers to get underneath that edge, but you want to make sure the ladder's set up just high enough so that you can get the mop underneath the ladder and around the ladder legs too. So anyhow, I'm going to climb up the ladder. I'm going to show you how we clean a window off of the ladder. So there you go. Climb up. Okay, now that we're up here, I can talk about safety up on the ladder. So I want to always have a hand on the ladder. These rungs here, 1, 2, 3, are off limits. You always want to have a rung about chest height that you can grab onto if you need to. It's important that you feel stable up here and you trust the ladder and the mechanics of it. They're going to hold you. So now, with a hand on the ladder, I'm going to wet this window. Get the frame. This top drip ledge. Go down the sides. Pull my scrub pad out. And the safest way to clean a window off a ladder is to fan it. It's another reason to get better at fanning windows. When you're reaching for towels over and over again and switching hands, if you're doing straight pulls, it's just a little more like so. And go around the edges. So again, just like a window in the ground, we're taking that slop towel, just make sure the frames look decent. Then, now that we're up here, we'll clean this window too. So we switch hands, and the more you clean windows, the better you'll get at cleaning with your left hand. You become ambidextrous with the squeegee. If I do have to take my hands off the ladder to grab a towel, I'll be leaning into the ladder a little bit with the front part of my leg here, my shin. I'll even reach through the rungs, just so I've always got an arm around the ladder. I'm pretty comfortable on the ladder. I've been doing this for a lot of years, but it's so important to make sure that we maintain control of our bodies while we're up on the ladder. So that's why we do that. So now I'm climbing down the ladder. Again, I've got my hands on the sides. My body is away from the ladder. So again, I'm in control. Step back. Now, to get the ladder down, we're going to do the same thing in reverse that we did to set the ladder up. Pull the ladder out carefully that we don't hit the fascia. lock it. And then to move the ladder, we're going to get behind the ladder. I'm going to turn like this, holding on to the ladder. I'm going to grab this rung with this hand. And as I fall down, I'm going to grab this rung here. There we go. Now the ladder safely dropped down. Now to set it up, I'm going to put that corner down. I'll walk around it, grab it, turn it around towards the house. Another way to safely carry a ladder, I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. One way is you can grab the two sides. Again, one thing you want to think about is wind, trees up above you, branches, that type of thing. Anything that you can run into. This hand, I usually use my right hand because my right arm's a little stronger and I'm right-handed. That's to stabilize the ladder. The left hand is here to help pick it up and stabilize it too. I can pick up the ladder and I can walk sideways with it and I can set it down to the next window. Another way to carry the ladder is you can reach through and grab a ladder rung. Again, I got a ladder up, or a hand up high. You can even use two hands on the rungs if you like. Personally, I prefer the method of grabbing the ladder with both hands like this. One of the big reasons for that is I don't like to be tangled up in the ladder. To me, it feels like I am. If the wind catches it or I catch a branch with the top of the ladder, I want to be able to, if I have to, it's extremely rare to do this, but if I have to let go of the ladder so I don't get hurt. But the other reason is I just feel like I have more control when I have my hands on both sides of the ladder. So that is the basics here of ladder safety. You'll learn more on the job as we go. This is just an introduction. Again, daily with a ladder, it's important to be proficient with it and willing to be proficient with it, I guess, is the first step. But we could move a ladder 30-40 times a day and climb up and down it. So being able to use it and feel comfortable on it is a very important part of the job.